Our story begins with a dramatic confrontation in an ornate room. The short-haired person in uniform angrily declares to the woman with long hair and a frilled blouse, "Elfriede Zwanziger, I hereby annul my engagement with you." Shock and surprise ripple through the onlookers, including the man in the cloak, the woman in profile, and the suited man. The short-haired person in uniform angrily points at Elfriede Zwanziger, accusing her of disgrace and attempted murder while demanding she be punished. Elfriede stands calmly with her hands clasped, seemingly resigned. Nearby, others watch with concern and disapproval as the confrontation unfolds. Elfriede Zwanziger calmly denies the accusations, claiming they are baseless and hinting that Crown Prince Eckhart is involved. Meanwhile, the short-haired person in uniform looks nervous as the woman with long light hair gently holds his arm, showing concern. The tension between them remains palpable in this formal setting. Elfriede Zwanziger calmly rejects the accusations, questioning whether the short-haired person in uniform with epaulets ever truly believed she loved him. Her composed demeanor contrasts sharply with his shocked and speechless reaction. The tension in the ornate room thickens as her words hang in the air. The short-haired person in uniform fiercely commands Elfriede Zwanziger to leave the country, declaring her banished, calm, and unshaken. Elfriede responds with a mocking smile, dismissing the severity of the pronouncement. The tense confrontation escalates as accusations clash with cold defiance. The woman with long hair calmly extends her arm and declares that the Empire will offer refuge to the banished individual. She reveals herself as Crown Princess Rosenmuller of Strunz, presenting a dignified and resolute invitation amidst the turmoil. Elfriede Zwanziger humbly bows before the Crown Princess of Strunz, expressing her gratitude and seeking her favor and guidance. The Crown Princess calmly extends her hand in reassurance, telling Elfriede to think nothing of it. The ornate palace setting underscores the gravity of this new alliance. The woman with long hair, dressed in a frilled blouse and vest, looks determined as she reflects on having secured Elfriede Zwanziger despite the banishment. Two women walk away together, one of them being this same woman. While a chibi version of her joyfully celebrates the outcome, a status card highlights Elfriede Zwanziger, emphasizing her importance in this unfolding story. The woman with long hair and a frilled blouse confidently holds her fan upright, declaring her determination to gather more allies and advance her ambitions for world domination. Her resolute expression underscores the gravity of her plans as she sets her sights on expanding her influence. Our story continues inside a moving carriage, where the woman with long hair and a frilled blouse calmly holds a fan upright while sitting opposite Elfriede Zwanziger. Both maintain composed expressions as they face each other, the tension from earlier accusations lingering in the air. Crown Princess Rosenmuller holds her fan thoughtfully, her gaze steady as she contemplates the delicate task ahead. Elfriede Zwanziger looks away, calm yet resolute, unaware that winning her trust will be crucial to Rosenmuller's plans. The air is thick with tension, signaling the start of a fragile alliance. The woman with long hair and a fan contemplates quietly, wondering whether to offer Elfriede Zwanziger condolences or a welcome greeting. Elfriede Zwanziger sits thoughtfully nearby, both caught in a moment of reflection after recent tense events. The atmosphere is calm yet charged with unspoken intentions. The woman with long hair and a frilled blouse sits thoughtfully on a couch, holding a fan upright as she contemplates the situation. She reflects on the exile and wonders what choice will ultimately be made regarding Elfriede Zwanziger's fate. The quiet interior setting contrasts with the tension outside, emphasizing her introspective mood. The woman with long hair and a frilled blouse sits thoughtfully on a couch, holding her own hand as she reflects on her responsibilities as a ducal daughter, her loyalty, and her engagement to the crown prince. Her expression is serious and contemplative, revealing the weight of her duties. The man with the cloak sternly reprimands the bowing man in the suit, asserting his authority. Nearby, the woman with long light hair stands quietly in the spotlight, her back turned. Meanwhile, the woman with long hair and a vest sits in profile, lost in deep contemplation about the shifting political tides and the fate of the ducal house. Elfriede Zwanziger expresses her heartfelt thanks to the woman with long hair, the one holding a fan, for defending her honor earlier. The woman sits contemplatively by the window, quietly absorbing the gratitude as the weight of their alliance settles between them. The woman with long hair and a frilled vest speaks with a determined, fed-up expression, declaring that she has no lingering attachment to Crown Prince Eckhart or the Elysium Kingdom. Her resolve to sever ties is clear as she faces forward, then in profile and finally turns away, emphasizing her firm decision. The scene conveys her inner strength and disillusionment amid the quiet room. The woman with long hair and a fan calmly reassures Elfriede Zwanziger not to jump to conclusions, explaining that she will send a fast courier to her father. Elfriede looks surprised but attentive as they discuss their plans to travel to an estate near the border. The woman with long hair calmly advises Elfriede Zwanziger to discuss her exile with her family and appoints her as a close aide, grateful and respectful. Elfriede bows slightly, expressing her thanks for the support and protection she has received. The atmosphere is one of cautious alliance and mutual understanding. The woman with long hair, seated on the couch, reflects thoughtfully on the dangers exile poses, especially the risk of her family being taken hostage. She raises her hand as she continues to weigh the political consequences and the difficult decisions ahead. The woman with long hair confidently declares that her family and relatives will defect along with their territory. Elfriede Zwanziger listens intently, her expression shifting from concern to surprise at this bold assertion. The tense atmosphere underscores the gravity of their political maneuvering. The woman with long hair sits thoughtfully on the couch, her calm demeanor reflecting her clear understanding of the banishment's gravity. Elfriede Zwanziger, seated nearby with a confident smile, expresses her strong desire to have the woman as one of her close aides. Their quiet determination fills the room as they prepare for the challenges ahead. Without warning, the short-haired person in uniform plunges a blade into Elfriede Zwanziger's chest, blood splattering as she gasps in shock and pain. This sudden, brutal attack shatters the tense atmosphere, turning the scene deadly in an instant. Elfriede Zwanziger is brutally stabbed through the chest, blood splattering as she collapses backward. The woman with long hair and a fan appears in a chibi form, visibly furious and frustrated by the violent turn of events. This moment seals Elfriede's tragic fate, underscoring that she would never be defeated by mere bandits. The woman with long hair, holding a glass, speaks with calm confidence, declaring she will make use of her influence if the kingdom and world no longer need her. Outside, 3 determined riders escort a horse-drawn carriage along a road, underscoring the tense political atmosphere. The woman with long hair and a fan commands Elfriede Zwanziger to break through and ride straight to the estate. Warning that the path will be dangerous, Elfriede, seated and looking concerned, firmly refuses the order. The tension between them underscores the perilous situation ahead. The woman with long hair firmly declines the request from the woman with light hair to borrow the carriage, stating, "That won't be necessary." She then confidently steps out and jumps down from the carriage, ready to take matters into her own hands. Meanwhile, the woman with light hair watches quietly from inside. The woman with long hair summons a powerful magical attack, unleashing swirling snowflakes and energy toward the short-haired soldier and the cloaked man. Both mounted on horses, alarmed and caught off guard. They react defensively as the spell hurtles toward them. The battlefield grows tense under her commanding presence and formidable power. The woman with long hair and a frilled vest focuses intently as she unleashes a swirling magical attack, conjuring snowflakes and shards of energy. Her determined gaze pierces through the air, directing the powerful spell toward her adversaries. The room is charged with tension as her magic surges forward. The woman with long hair acknowledges the surprising strength of the magic involved. Outside, the short-haired rider urgently shouts about spotting their target while the man in the carriage grips the reins tightly. The woman with light hair, startled, asks if reinforcements are arriving, but the calm woman inside the carriage dismisses the idea with a firm no. The man with short hair urgently asks the woman with long hair if she and Elfriede are unharmed. She responds with a worried "Father," as she sits, reflecting on how the Saintess faction has now resorted to violence. Meanwhile, the woman with light hair steps out of the carriage with a serious and determined expression. The woman with long hair, calm and grateful, thanks the man in the suit for rescuing them from danger and warmly invites him to rest at her estate. Nearby, the woman with long light hair listens thoughtfully, standing beside the man. The scene shifts toward the grand estate, hinting at a moment of respite and important conversation ahead. The woman with long hair and a frilled vest calmly surveys the estate from inside, affirming that bringing Elfriede and her family in was successful. She confidently declares that all preparations are complete, and now only the removal of remaining obstacles stands in their way. The older man with a crown angrily demands the immediate handover of the Duke, accusing him of treason. Behind him, the short-haired person in uniform stands serious and alert. The woman with long hair and a fan responds with disdain, simply calling the situation pathetic. The woman with long hair, holding a fan, sits by the window, her expression serious and contemplative. She reflects on the heavy consequences of disregarding diplomacy, warning that such actions could lead to the destruction of a nation. The sunlight casts a quiet glow, underscoring the gravity of her thoughts. The older man with the crown fiercely commands the short-haired soldier to charge, igniting the assault. The determined soldier rushes forward with sword drawn, heading straight for the gate. Meanwhile, the woman with long hair and a frilled vest stands calmly in a beam of light, her eyes narrowing with a stern promise. Anyone who dares draw their blade against her will face fitting punishment. The woman with long hair and a fan calmly invites the older man with the crown and his companions inside. Expressing her resolve to protect the duke's family under her care, the older man, standing in the doorway with a serious expression, acknowledges their entrance with a quiet "excuse us." Behind him, the woman with long light hair and the short-haired person in uniform observe the scene silently. The woman with long hair confidently offers Duke Zwanziger the prestigious rank of Marquis. Extending her hand as she asks if he will accept this new title, Duke Zwanziger listens thoughtfully, considering the proposal in the quiet interior room. This moment marks a pivotal step in their delicate negotiations to bring his family under her protection. The short-haired person in uniform kneels respectfully, pledging their loyalty to Crown Princess Rosenmuller and declaring their readiness to oppose their former liege and royal family. The Crown Princess remains calm and composed, acknowledging the significant shift in allegiance within the ornate room. This moment underscores the deepening conflict and the realignment of loyalties at play. The short-haired person in uniform urgently reports to the Crown Princess of Strunz that the Alyssum Kingdom's army is attempting to force their way into the castle, calm and confident. The Crown Princess declares that such an act of aggression without consent provides more than enough justification for their response. The woman with long light hair earnestly asks Lady Elfriede of the Zwanziger Marquisate for a chance to restore her honor. Calm and composed, Elfriede assures her that her honor remains intact and offers an opportunity to create a new achievement instead. She then inquires if the woman has a request to make. The woman with long hair in an elegant dress smiles confidently and replies, "Certainly." She walks down a brightly lit hallway, followed closely by the short-haired person in uniform with epaulets. The woman with long hair and elegant attire stands composed and confident, embodying grace and nobility. Meanwhile, two chibi versions of the small, energetic character cheer her on enthusiastically, praising her as a cool and noble villainess. The admiration for her commanding presence is clear and heartfelt. The woman in the elegant dress calmly invites Marquise Zwanziger to watch the unfolding events together. In response, Marquise Zwanziger bows respectfully, expressing her honor to accompany her. The atmosphere is poised and tense within the ornate palace interior. The woman in the elegant dress steadies herself, sword in hand, fully prepared for the challenge ahead, watching intently. The Crown Princess of Strunz beams with anticipation, clearly rooting for her ally's big moment. The tension builds as the stage is set for a decisive confrontation. Our story continues with the woman in the elegant dress standing poised and determined, sword in hand, ready for the challenge ahead. She acknowledges the strength of her opponent and demands they prove their worth. Her serious and commanding presence fills the room as she prepares to face what comes next. Elfriede Zwanziger stands resolute, gripping her sword vertically before her face with a determined expression. Snowflake-like effects shimmer around her, emphasizing her readiness to serve as an aid in the unfolding conflict. The moment captures her serious commitment to the cause. The woman with long hair, seated calmly at the table, encourages Elfriede Zwanziger, reminding her that it is the Lord's duty to provide opportunities. Elfriede, smiling confidently in profile, eagerly looks forward to showing how she will destroy their enemies. Meanwhile, the small chibi character with a ponytail excitedly waves flags and cheers for Elfriede's live performance. Duke Zwanziger confronts the woman with long hair, accusing the royal family of betrayal and declaring that he no longer owes them any loyalty. The woman stands silently, taken aback by his resolute words. His expression is fierce as he firmly rejects his obligation to serve the crown. The woman with long hair, smiling warmly and blushing, expresses her deep gratitude and affection for her husband, Elfriede Zwanziger, who stands determined with her sword. Meanwhile, Duke Zwanziger, seen from behind with his fur-collared royal attire, angrily commands the short-haired uniformed soldier to destroy their enemies, escalating the tension in the room. The confrontation is set to become even more intense as loyalties are challenged. The woman with long hair, gripping her sword with fierce resolve, firmly rejects the older man's demand to hand over her daughter. The partial, stern face of Duke Zwanziger looms nearby, pressing for obedience and offering forgiveness if she complies. But she stands unwavering, declaring she will no longer care for the immature prince. The woman in the elegant dress stands firmly, sword drawn, facing the charging armored soldiers. The short-haired soldier shouts a fierce command to capture her, while Elfriede Zwanziger watches calmly with admiration. Nearby, the small, energetic figure cheers excitedly, proud of the unfolding confrontation. The woman with long hair raises her sword and commands, "Spirits!" as she unleashes a dazzling magical assault. Shards and snowflake-like projectiles burst forth, striking the armored soldiers who recoil in surprise and defense. The battle intensifies with her fierce, commanding presence leading the attack. The woman with long hair, dressed elegantly and wielding her sword, unleashes a fierce magical attack, sending shards and snowflake-like projectiles flying toward the armored soldiers. The short-haired soldiers brace themselves defensively as they are struck by the onslaught. Her determined battle cry echoes through the scene, fueling her powerful assault. The short-haired person in uniform fiercely commands their troops to overwhelm the enemy with sheer numbers and to cast aside fear. Behind them, the man with short dark hair and a cloak smirks confidently, cautioning that there are multiple foes to face. The tension rises as the battle intensifies. Duke Zwanziger fiercely commands his troops to cut down their opponents, while the woman in the elegant dress boldly declares they will prove the valor of the Zwanziger family. The short-haired soldier reacts with shock and disbelief at the orders. As the man with the cloak stands behind him, concerned, nearby, the woman with the ponytail calmly tells Elfriede Zwanziger the match is decided, to which Elfriede confidently agrees. The woman with long hair and the man with short dark hair both raise their swords triumphantly, shouting a victorious cry. They reflect on how Elfriede Zwanziger was the true wielder of the spirit sword, defying the royal family's claim. Their determined expressions show their resolve as they stand united in this moment. Duke Zwanziger angrily shouts at the short-haired soldier, demanding answers for their actions. Meanwhile, the man with the dark cloak bows respectfully, announcing the arrival of Elfriede Zwanziger, who stands calmly with her hands clasped. The tension rises as the confrontation unfolds inside the grand estate. The woman with long hair in an elegant dress praises Elfriede Zwanziger, calling the recent fight incredible. Elfriede responds with a grateful smile. While the woman prepares to get straight to the point in their conversation, the atmosphere is calm but charged with the weight of what just transpired. The woman with long hair, standing confidently by the window, calmly asks Elfriede Zwanziger for the name she held in a past life. Surprised but composed, Elfriede reveals that her past life name was Eri. The moment carries a quiet intensity as daylight filters through the large windows behind them. The woman in the elegant dress calmly asks Elfriede Zwanziger for her name, her expression gentle and confident. Elfriede looks nervous and uncertain, clasping her hands as she faces the question in the ornate room. The moment carries a quiet tension, hinting at the importance of this revelation. The woman with long hair in the elegant dress fixes a serious, intense gaze on Elfriede Zwanziger, who looks visibly anxious and sweats nervously, avoiding eye contact. The tension between them is palpable as Elfriede struggles to respond under the weight of the moment. The woman in the elegant dress solemnly reveals, "My name was Yuina," confirming her identity from a past life. Her serious expression underscores the weight of this revelation in the ornate room. Yuina, with a serious and curious expression, asks Elfriede if she was summoned or reincarnated, and whether she remains the same. Elfriede, calm and reflective, responds simply, "Reincarnated." The two stand in a quiet room illuminated by moonlight, deep in this pivotal conversation. The Crown Princess of Strunz calmly offers Elfriede Zwanziger to call her Brunhild, a name that carries a sense of familiarity and trust. Elfriede, surprised, hesitates and asks if the princess is sure about this. The princess smiles gently with her eyes closed, affirming her offer with quiet confidence. Yuina confidently explains to Elfriede that she is a candidate to become her aide and that they are both reincarnators. Elfriede asks when the other candidates will drop out. Curious about the process, Yuina replies that it will happen the day Elfriede swears her loyalty. Duke Zwanziger stands authoritatively as the short-haired person in uniform kneels submissively before him, emphasizing the weight of command and responsibility. Nearby, the Crown Princess of Strunz gazes forward with determined resolve, embodying the steadfast spirit required of a future queen. Elfriede Zwanziger stands resolute in the grand, ornate room, reflecting the serious moment and the importance of trust and credibility in leadership. Elfriede Zwanziger inquires seriously about the Crown Princess of Strunz's true intentions and what she expects from her. Calm and composed, the Crown Princess explains that many troubling issues are stirring across the world, hinting at the gravity of their situation. The Crown Princess of Strunz declares her bold ambition to unify the continent, seeking happiness not only for herself but also for those she loves. She earnestly asks Elfriede Zwanziger for her support in this grand endeavor. Elfriede listens attentively, slightly surprised by the princess's determined resolve. Elfriede Zwanziger solemnly pledges her life and honor to Crown Princess Rosenmuller, vowing to support her ambitious goal. Her serious expression reflects the weight of her commitment in the elegant room. The alliance between them is now firmly sealed. Elfriede Zwanziger kneels respectfully before the Crown Princess of Strunz, pledging her loyalty and dedication. The Crown Princess calmly accepts this solemn vow, solidifying their alliance in the grand room bathed in sunlight. The woman with the ponytail cheerfully holds a bottle and invites Elfriede Zwanziger to chat. They clasp hands warmly, sharing a moment of friendly connection. Elfriede smiles in response, agreeing to accompany her for a drink or two. The woman with the ponytail and Elfriede Zwanziger share a cheerful moment, clinking their wine glasses in a heartfelt toast to their hometown. Meanwhile, the small energetic figure with a ponytail looks on with a worried expression, cautioning about the trauma and pressure of forced drinking. The atmosphere remains warm but tinged with concern. Elfriede Zwanziger raises her glass in a determined toast, declaring her ambition to win over her next Ashi and pursue her goals relentlessly. The full moon outside the window casts a serene glow as she speaks with unwavering confidence. This moment marks a resolute commitment to her path and the challenges ahead. Our story continues as the woman with the ponytail and Elfriede Zwanziger share a quiet moment inside a horse-drawn carriage. They exchange lighthearted remarks about the bumpy ride, shaking their romantic notions of carriage travel, with the woman teasing, "That's Chiba for you." Elfriede then announces that they have arrived at their destination, while the woman gently notes how tiring the journey must have been. The woman with the ponytail and Elfriede Zwanziger stand side by side, both gazing solemnly at the imposing castle gate of the royal capital, Strunz. Their shared focus on the fortress reflects the weight of their ambitions and the path ahead. The moment is quiet but charged with determination. The woman with long hair and a ponytail explains to Elfriede Zwanziger the concept of their hometown as the setting of an otome game, detailing how the main character has transmigrated into this world. Elfriede listens intently, absorbing the gravity of this revelation. The conversation unfolds outside near a building with windows, on a cobblestone ground. The woman with the ponytail, holding a folding fan, firmly declares her resolve to prevent the neighboring country's invasion from taking place. Her determined gaze reflects her commitment to protecting their land and people. A map behind her shows the strategic movements of the invading forces. The woman with the ponytail reflects thoughtfully on the Saintess's powers. Determined to take preventative action, Elfriede Zwanziger confidently explains that to reduce those under the Saintess's charm, they must cut away parts of the kingdom's territory, starting with the Zwanzigers. Their conversation reveals a strategic plan to contain the looming threat. The woman with the ponytail explains her theory about the people of the Zwanzigers' fiefdom possibly being reincarnated. Elfriede Zwanziger listens thoughtfully and questions whether the Lord's daughter coming from another world could affect the kingdom's domain. Their conversation deepens the mystery surrounding the political and supernatural dynamics of the territory. The woman with the ponytail confidently speaks while flicking her fan, outlining a plan to diminish internal turmoil and reparations by targeting a seemingly useless girl lacking skills. In a stark spotlight below, the vulnerable woman in the dress stands isolated, embodying the subject of this cold strategy. The woman with the ponytail calmly explains to Elfriede Zwanziger that she has no cheat abilities and is relying solely on her knowledge from playing the game. She then asks Elfriede if she feels disappointed by this revelation. Elfriede listens attentively, her expression neutral but focused. The woman with the ponytail smiles warmly, expressing relief and kindness toward Elfriede Zwanziger's ambition and care for her people. Elfriede, serious and thoughtful, admits that her ambition is selfish, driven by the need to strengthen the kingdom and increase its population. Their conversation unfolds quietly on a balcony, framed by the open sky behind them. The woman with the ponytail extends her hand as she speaks seriously to Elfriede Zwanziger about the complex aftermath of the recent conflict, including the transfer of prisoners, border negotiations, and Elfriede's new role as a marquis. Elfriede listens calmly, absorbing the weight of these political responsibilities. Together, they stand on a balcony overlooking the city, contemplating the challenges ahead. The woman with the ponytail confidently tells Elfriede Zwanziger that she'll put her to work right away. Elfriede responds with a determined, "Bring it on." Their mutual resolve clear against the open sky. The woman with the ponytail confidently promises Elfriede Zwanziger that she will put her to work thoroughly, but assures her there will be no unpaid overtime and proper leave must be requested. Elfriede reacts with shock, wondering what kind of exploitative company the woman might have worked for in her past life. The playful exchange highlights their growing camaraderie amid serious plans. The woman with the ponytail asks Elfriede Zwanziger about the plan for the day. Elfriede calmly informs her of appointments with the prince and the queen, mentioning that the prince wants to spar with Elfriede. Surprised, the woman questions if the prince really intends to spar with her brother. The short-haired person in uniform confidently requests a match to test if Zwanzigerdano is fit to be his younger sister's aide. Zwanzigerdano stands calmly, facing away, ready to respond to the challenge in the arena. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation as the test is proposed. Elfriede Zwanziger angrily scolds the short-haired person in uniform for not consulting her before choosing her as a knight. Nervously, he responds, explaining that his decision came from concern as an older brother and protector of his younger sister. The tension between duty and family responsibility is clear in their heated exchange. The short-haired knight confidently accepts the challenge, declaring that as a knight, refusal is not an option while gripping his sword. The woman with the ponytail stands with her hand on her hip, clearly frustrated and muttering about jock types. The knight responds cheerfully, as expected, showing his spirited determination. Elfriede Zwanziger firmly commands the short-haired knight to defeat his opponent, dismissing his hesitation. The woman with the ponytail calmly watches, confident in the challenge ahead. With a raised hand, Elfriede signals the start of the match, setting the stage for the test of skill. Karl-Heinz Rosenberger boldly challenges Elfriede Zwanziger to a fair duel, sword drawn and ready. Elfriede meets his challenge with confident determination, accepting the match without hesitation. The tension rises as both prepare to test their skills in this decisive confrontation. The young man with short light hair lunges forward, shouting fiercely as he swings his weapon at Elfriede Zwanziger. Calm and composed, Elfriede effortlessly blocks the aggressive strike, maintaining her focus in the heat of their duel. The young man with short light hair launches a powerful, sweeping attack. His determination clear, Elfriede Zwanziger meets his strike with a confident smile, expertly deflecting the blow with her sword. The duel intensifies as both fighters focus fiercely on each other. The young knight lunges forward with a fierce sword strike, but Elfriede Zwanziger calmly parries the blow with her own blade. The woman with the ponytail urgently shouts for him to stop immediately, her voice cutting through the tension of the duel. Sweat beads on the knight's face as he strains against Elfriede's composed defense. The young man with armor apologizes sincerely to the woman with the ponytail, entrusting his sister's care to her. She calmly assures him that she will look after his sister well. Meanwhile, Elfriede Zwanziger stands nearby with arms crossed, scolding the young man for his reckless approach and urging him to reflect on his actions. The woman with long hair and a ponytail cheerfully asks the young knight to invite Elfriede Zwanziger to their next tea party. Though a bit embarrassed, he reluctantly agrees to her request. Elfriede looks on, surprised by the friendly exchange. The woman with the ponytail cheerfully tells Yuina that he's just a softie, and comments on how well they seem to get along. Zwanziger Dano then reminds her that it's time for her meeting with the queen. She agrees promptly, preparing to leave the sunlit hallway. The woman with long hair and a ponytail stands thoughtfully inside a grand hall, bathed in soft light from arched windows. She gazes forward with determination, quietly reflecting on how her plan might appear to her mother. The moment captures her resolve as she prepares for what lies ahead. Our story continues in a serene garden adorned with a rose arch and a fountain. The woman with long hair and a ponytail approaches a seated figure, calmly apologizing for keeping them waiting. Her composed demeanor suggests a respectful and thoughtful interaction about to unfold. Marquise Zwanziger, calm and regal, addresses the woman with the ponytail as, "Your Majesty the Queen," then playfully insists, "Call me Mother." The woman with the ponytail reacts nervously, surprised that no one else is present, expressing her unease with a small sweat drop. The scene is set indoors, softly lit with delicate petals falling around them. The woman with the ponytail calmly explains the early conferment of decorations as a strategic move to secure Zwanziger's support. She emphasizes the urgency of acting quickly before a key aide's influence collapses. Her thoughtful demeanor underscores the delicate political maneuvering underway. The woman with the ponytail asks Marquise Zwanziger if her mother approved the proposal. Calm and eyes closed, Marquise Zwanziger replies she was surprised by the idea of recruiting close aides from other countries, but trusts her judgment. A close-up of the woman's eye reveals her confidence in the information and her keen insight into people. The woman with long hair and a ponytail raises her hand seriously, voicing her deep concern about the king and crown prince's grave actions and the resulting turmoil engulfing Alyssum. The atmosphere is tense as she reflects on the escalating chaos. The woman with long hair and a ponytail reflects seriously on the Saintess's terrifying power that defies logic. Marquise Zwanziger, calm and contemplative, responds thoughtfully, lamenting how a king who loses his pride becomes nothing more than a paper tiger. Their conversation reveals a deep concern about the fragile state of leadership and the overwhelming threat posed by the Saintess. The woman with the ponytail questions whether the opposing side will obediently accept the formal cession and suspension of trade, calm and confident. Yuina warns that if they refuse, the border will simply vanish. Their strategic discussion underscores the tense uncertainty surrounding Zwanziger's fate. The woman with the ponytail grips her sword firmly, her expression resolute as she declares the plan to unify the continent and set a harsh example against those who threaten Strunz. Beside her, Elfriede Zwanziger listens intently, now appointed as a close aid knight to aid in this critical mission. The weight of their strategy hangs heavy in the room, illuminated by the glow of a map behind them. The woman with the ponytail solemnly informs Marquise Zwanziger that she will be away again for a while. Marquise Zwanziger smiles gently, offering her encouragement and prayers for success. The mood is serious yet supportive as they prepare for the challenges ahead. The woman with long hair and a ponytail advises Marquise Zwanziger to keep a close watch on the northern countries and warns against concentrating too much on a single issue. Marquise Zwanziger listens attentively and responds with a calm affirmation. Their conversation carries a serious tone, underscoring the strategic importance of their plans. The Crown Princess of Strunz calmly instructs Elfriede Zwanziger to take good care of her friend. Elfriede smiles confidently, affirming that the future Knight Commander is her treasure. Meanwhile, the woman with the ponytail looks worried and contemplative, silently reflecting on the delicate balance of their positions and the tensions beneath the surface. The woman with long hair tied in a ponytail pauses thoughtfully, glancing back as she contemplates their progress. Though she acknowledges they have achieved a passing mark, she knows the journey ahead remains long and challenging. The serene outdoor setting with a classical pavilion and clock tower contrasts with her determined resolve. The woman with the ponytail smiles contentedly as she inhales the pleasant aroma of her tea, expressing how honored she feels in this moment. Nearby, a man with short hair stands quietly, his back turned toward her. The elegant room glows softly under the crescent moonlight, adding a serene atmosphere to their exchange. The man with long light hair tied back, dressed in a formal butler uniform, speaks confidently, affirming, "As expected of my personal butler, would that be about right?" His slight smile reveals pride in his role. The young man with short light hair smiles confidently as he explains his understanding of the Highness's preference for detailed information. The woman with long light hair, standing with her back turned, comments that men who are too particular might be disliked. The woman with the ponytail playfully responds, exclaiming "good grief" with a teasing smile. The woman with the ponytail expresses frustration, pointing out how Theodore Strauss, the man with long light hair, stands out too much for an assassin. A photo of two men labeled such is shown nearby, hinting at a deeper connection or past intrigue. Theodore remains calm and confident, his glowing presence contrasting sharply with the woman's annoyed demeanor. The woman with the ponytail bursts out excitedly, exclaiming an "oh" as she praises the game's stunning visuals. Meanwhile, the young man with long light hair tied back reveals a cold, cruel smirk beneath his composed facade. Beside him, the man with similar long light hair maintains a captivating smile and calm demeanor, contrasting sharply with his companion. The woman with the ponytail smiles softly, her thoughts lingering on the assassin's surprisingly sweet smile and hidden vulnerability. In a lively contrast, a chibi version of her bursts with excitement, thrilled at the idea of buying merchandise and moved by the emotional impact of recent events. The man with long light hair, the personal butler, reports that the conformist faction is gaining power and influence within the Holy Kingdom, and that the individual he is investigating has outside connections and faces criticism. The woman with the ponytail calmly asks if there is any news from the south. Attentively listening to the update, their conversation takes place in a refined room, underscoring the gravity of the political situation. The woman with the ponytail commands the man in the suit to continue the investigation, noting the conformist faction's early maneuvers. He responds respectfully, affirming her orders. She thoughtfully places her hand on a document, contemplating the unfolding espionage and strategies. The woman with the long ponytail calmly instructs Theodore Strauss to regroup once he has finished his preparations. Theodore, smiling respectfully, assures her that he will hurry to her side as soon as he is done. The woman with long hair and a ponytail, holding a fan, calmly assures the woman with long light hair and profile that her sole duty is to serve her by her side. In response, the woman with light hair smiles gently and playfully tells her, "Oh, how you exaggerate." Their exchange is respectful and warm, set against the backdrop of a softly lit room at night. The woman with the ponytail confidently declares that she will not give him back, insisting he is already an important aid to her. The young man beside her smiles gently, calm and composed, as they stand together in the ornate room. Their exchange underscores her firm hold on the situation and her growing influence. The woman with long hair and a gentle smile suggests to the young armored man, who holds a bird on his arm, that they should go meet her next Ashi. Sunlight streams through the large windows, hinting their next destination, the Elven Nation, the Holy Kingdom of Astromeria. Our story continues with the woman with long hair and a ponytail checking on the Crown Princess of Strunz during their carriage ride. Concerned, she asks if the princess is feeling fatigued, to which the Crown Princess, smiling cheerfully, agrees and suggests they take a break. The moment shows a brief pause amid their ongoing plans. The Crown Princess of Strunz asks Elfriede Zwanziger if she has read the fantasy novel, The Tale of the Holy Grail. Elfriede responds thoughtfully that she has never heard of it. They share this quiet moment outdoors, seated near a garden table with a carriage in the background. In a quiet forest clearing marked on the map of Alstromeria, a young high elf meets a black-haired man, their eyes locking with mutual understanding, despite the long-standing conflict between humans and demons. The two quickly form a deep and genuine friendship, symbolizing hope amid turmoil. Their bond hints at a future alliance that could bridge the divide between their worlds. The young high elf, racked with anguish, makes a heart-wrenching choice to surrender the Holy Grail, the very source of his kingdom's prosperity, to the Demon King, despite his agonized decision to prioritize friendship over his realm. The Demon King coldly betrays him, sealing a tragic moment of trust shattered. The Crown Princess of Strunz, visibly devastated, explains the tragic ending of the tale of the Holy Grail to Elfriede Zwanziger, revealing her deep emotional connection to the story. Elfriede reacts with a mix of surprise and concern, noting the princess's otaku side shining through. In a chibi form, the princess expresses her despair and frustration over her favorite character's death. The Crown Princess of Strunz calmly explains to Elfriede Zwanziger that the tale of the Holy Grail is a story with a bad ending. Elfriede, looking annoyed, tells her not to be so blunt about it. The Crown Princess then asks if the banished high elf is their target, and Elfriede confirms that this time, the banished high elf is indeed the target. The young man with short light hair solemnly reveals that the protagonist is actually a 300-year-old legal Shota. The woman with the ponytail responds cheerfully, teasing him about having a broad strike zone. Meanwhile, a small, shocked Theodore Strauss looks on, clearly embarrassed by the exchange. The Crown Princess of Strunz explains her hope to change the outcome of the neighboring country's alliance, determined to rewrite the story's ending. The woman with the ponytail smiles warmly and remarks, "That's so like you, Your Highness." Meanwhile, a man in a suit enters the room, politely apologizing for keeping her waiting. The woman with the ponytail stands confidently beside the seated young man in armor, asking if the work has been completed. He smiles in response, clearly at ease. She then rises from her chair to continue their strategic discussion outdoors. The woman with the ponytail firmly confirms the plan, her expression resolute. The young man in armor smirks confidently and replies, "Understood." Meanwhile, the man with long light hair in a formal uniform calmly agrees, saying, "As you command. The operation is set to commence in 3 days." The young man with short light hair bows respectfully to Crown Princess Rosenmuller, welcoming her warmly. She responds with a calm, polite smile, expressing gratitude for the invitation and assuring that they will be in good care. Following closely behind them, the woman with the ponytail walks quietly, accompanying the princess. The woman with the ponytail walks gracefully through a serene garden filled with blooming rosemary flowers, pausing to remark on their lovely fragrance. Nearby, the man with long light hair in a formal butler uniform watches quietly from the side. The rosemary blooms symbolize the enduring tale of the Holy Grail they have been discussing. The young elf man gazes thoughtfully at the woman with the ponytail, who stands calmly among ancient columns as petals gently fall around them. A quiet, contemplative moment passes between them in this serene garden setting. The woman with the ponytail smiles confidently as she tells the young man in armor, "This will be fun." She then calls him the finest spirit user in the land and declares, "I'll make you mine, just you wait and see." Her determination clear amid the falling petals. 3 days have passed since their arrival, and preparations are now complete. The woman with the ponytail, Elfriede Zwanziger, and the man in the suit walk together through the palace grounds under the night sky. Their expressions serious and focused. The atmosphere is calm but charged with anticipation for what lies ahead. The woman with the ponytail stands resolute among stone columns, her gaze sharp and determined. She declares firmly, "Today is the deciding battle, huh?" Signaling the moment of truth has arrived. Under the moonlit sky, the woman with the ponytail stands quietly among the tall columns, her gaze steady and calm. Nearby, the young man with pointed ears looks thoughtfully upward, lost in contemplation. The serene night surrounds them both as they prepare for the decisive moment ahead. The Crown Princess of Strunz calmly asks if he is the one, seeking confirmation. The woman with the ponytail replies firmly, "Yes," identifying the young man as Lucien Maupassant. A genius blessed by spirits with unmatched magical power, Lucien stands composed, his aura glowing, ready for what lies ahead. The woman with the ponytail warns the Crown Princess of Strunz not to take her eyes off the young man sitting quietly on the temple stairs beneath the moonlight. The young man remains still, facing the ancient columns, as the tension of the moment builds. The woman with the ponytail solemnly explains the immense value of the Holy Grail, emphasizing that other nations would go to great lengths, even kill, to claim it. She stands poised near the pedestal where the Grail rests, underscoring its critical importance to their land's future. The woman with the ponytail confidently explains to the crown princess of Strunts the true desire behind the Holy Grail and the value of its replicas. Meanwhile, the young man with short light hair bows respectfully, addressing her as my lady. The crown princess listens thoughtfully, absorbing the weight of their words under the night sky. The woman with the ponytail, impressed and contemplative, reflects silently on the illusion created by the spirit user, noting how no one else seemed to notice it. Nearby, the young man with pointed ears stands quietly, unaware of her thoughts. The night air is tense as the weight of the unseen magic lingers in the courtyard. The crown princess of Strunts appears unwell, clutching her stomach as the woman with the ponytail supports her gently. The young man with short light hair calmly explains that the princess may be overwhelmed and asks the woman to serve as her representative. With resolve, the woman agrees to take on this responsibility, while the young man carries the princess away. The young man gently holds the woman in his arms, his calm smile reassuring her as he asks if she is all right. She closes her eyes briefly, responding with a tired but relieved yes. The night surrounds them quietly, offering a moment of comfort amid the tension. The young man asks if they should proceed according to plan, and the woman with the ponytail confidently agrees. She declares they will head toward the Forbidden Forest to crash the meeting where he and the Demon King are to gather. Their resolve is clear as they prepare to move forward under the cover of night. The woman with long hair in a ponytail gasps in shock, exclaiming that the Holy Grail has been stolen. The young man with light hair, holding her gently, confirms that Elfriede succeeded on her side but warns they must immediately search for Lucian, as something has clearly gone wrong. The night air is tense beneath the moonlit trees near the shrine. The woman with the ponytail urgently insists they must hurry now, while the young man in the butler uniform confidently carries her in his arms, reassuring her to leave everything to him, despite her surprised protest. He swiftly runs away with her, determined to act quickly. Under the full moon's glow, the young man runs swiftly, carrying the determined woman in his arms. She vows not to let her beloved fall into despair or suffer a tragic fate, her resolve shining through the night. The urgency of their escape is palpable as they press forward beneath the trees. The woman with the ponytail holds a feather pen aloft with fierce determination as she opens a large, ornate book titled, The Tale of the Holy Grail. Resolute, she declares her intent to rewrite the story of the Holy Grail itself. The woman with long hair and a ponytail raises her hand confidently, declaring, in a way that's convenient for me, that is, a smug smile playing on her lips. Her assured tone hints at a carefully crafted plan unfolding on her terms. Our story continues under the full moon as the young man, holding an ornate chalice, offers it to the determined woman with a ponytail. She gratefully accepts, declaring it will save the children, then urgently commands someone to wait right there. The tension rises as they prepare to act swiftly. The woman with the ponytail urgently asks Theodore where Strauss to put her down, but he firmly refuses, holding her tightly. She looks surprised and conflicted, her thoughts turning to the daunting task of stopping the Demon King. Nearby, the young man with pointed elf-like ears clutches an ornate chalice, his expression serious amid the dim forest surroundings. The young man with pointed elf-like ears calmly confirms, indeed, all according to plan. As he offers the ornate chalice, the determined woman with the ponytail smiles confidently and tells Lucian Maupassant, I'll be back later, Lucian. Surprised, Lucian reacts with an AH, while the woman adds urgently, he ran away. Under the moonlit sky, the young man with pointed ears anxiously asks the woman with the ponytail why she has come. She counters with a sharp demand, questioning why he handed over the Holy Grail despite the catastrophic consequences it caused. Under the moonlit sky, the young man with pointed elf-like ears calmly insists he only lent the Holy Grail and expects its return soon. Meanwhile, the woman with the ponytail quietly contemplates that he still hasn't realized he's been betrayed. The woman with the ponytail questions whether the Demon King would truly return the Holy Grail, revealing her deep distrust. The young man with pointed elf-like ears calmly explains that while demons often lie, they do keep their vows once made. Shocked, he defends Yug's character, insisting that Yug is a trustworthy friend despite the doubts. Under the moonlit sky, the woman with the ponytail firmly warns the young elf-like man that the Holy Grail will never return, cautioning him against blind faith. The young man struggles in pain and disbelief, his expression twisted with anguish as he utters strained sounds. The woman with the ponytail extends her hand toward the young man with pointed elf-like ears, her expression serious and confident as she offers to save him. The young man looks hesitant and uncertain, a bead of sweat visible on his face as he silently contemplates her offer. The moment is charged with urgency and a glimmer of hope. Under the night sky, the woman with the ponytail calmly demands a clear yes or no answer from the nervous young man with pointed elf-like ears. He looks surprised at her words but ultimately grasps her extended hand, showing his hesitant agreement. The tension between them is palpable as the decision hangs in the air. The woman with the ponytail sternly commands Lucian not to open his mouth, declaring that she will take charge of his life. Lucian, looking nervous and submissive, nods in agreement, acknowledging her authority. In the background, 3 other cloaked men stand silently, emphasizing the seriousness of the moment. The young man with pointed elf-like ears, back to us, shouts angrily at Lucian, demanding answers and blaming him for the clan's destruction. Lucian, sweating and clearly distressed, remains silent, unable to respond to the accusations. The tension between them is palpable as dusk settles over the forest. Under the moonlit night, the woman with the ponytail firmly binds the young man's hands with magical restraints, declaring him a criminal. She asserts that his powers will be sealed and that he will be exiled, taking full control over his fate. Nearby, Yuina watches the tense scene with a serious and contemplative expression. The young man with pointed elf-like ears, now bound by magical restraints, walks away from the others, his cloak billowing behind him. He is joined by 2 other elves, forming a somber group as they leave indoors. This marks the beginning of his life as an exiled wanderer, stripped of his powers by those who branded him a criminal. The woman with the ponytail smiles confidently as she suggests they return to the altar, hinting they might have missed something important. Meanwhile, the young man with pointed elf-like ears, shown from both side and back views, questions whether it's too soon to draw conclusions. The nighttime setting with trees adds a quiet tension to their careful reconsideration. The woman with the ponytail calmly reassures the young man with pointed elf-like ears, who remains anxious and bound by magical restraints, that she has come to rescue him. Her confident demeanor contrasts with his worried expression as she offers hope amidst his captivity. The young man with pointed elf-like ears reacts with shock and confusion as the chalice suddenly appears before him. The woman with the ponytail calmly holds the chalice, observing the unexpected sight with a contemplative expression. The ancient altar stands solemnly beneath the open sky, setting the stage for this pivotal moment. The woman with the ponytail confidently declares that the Holy Grail has not been stolen after all. She stands poised by the grand staircase, her hand raised as the glowing altar behind her illuminates the scene. Her calm assurance suggests a turning point in the search for the sacred relic. The woman with the ponytail calmly commands the release of the magical restraints binding the young man with pointed elf-like ears. He responds with a relieved "understood" and raises his hand as the bindings vanish. The tension eases as he regains his freedom under her firm guidance. The woman with the ponytail firmly declares that the spirits abhor lies and that the accusation against the young elf-like man is false. The young man and his companions react with shock and disbelief, stunned by her revelation in the solemn outdoor setting. The young man with pointed elf-like ears voices his concern about the kingdom's dangers and suggests they should withdraw. The woman with the ponytail sternly remarks that the conspiracy insults the spirits and revolves around the fight for leadership. Marquise Zwanziger calmly agrees, affirming the gravity of the situation. The woman with the ponytail extends her hand warmly to Luciandano, inviting him to come with her to her kingdom. Luciandano looks surprised and uncertain, caught off guard by her unexpected offer of refuge. The ancient stone steps and pillars behind them hint at the weight of the moment as a new path opens for the exiled young man. The woman with the ponytail firmly invites Luciandano to return with her, despite his worried protests about the dangers the outside world holds for elves. Lucian tries to clarify that there has been a misunderstanding, his anxious expression showing his concern. The ancient ruins around them underscore the gravity of this tense conversation. The woman with the ponytail extends her hand gently toward Luciandano, offering reassurance and an invitation. Luciandano, calm and slightly smiling, accepts her gesture as they stand together near the ancient altar under the open sky. This moment seals their newfound alliance and hope amid the unfolding turmoil. The woman with the ponytail calmly reveals to Luciandano that she already knew about the plan to hand the Holy Grail to the Demon King. Luciandano, curious and thoughtful, asks how she could have known such a secret. The woman with the ponytail calmly explains to Luciandano how the fake Holy Grail was switched with the real one before the ritual, revealing the spirit's role in exposing the deception. Luciandano listens with surprise and concern, processing the gravity of the situation. Meanwhile, the woman with long light hair holds the reins of a horse, ready to move forward. The woman with the ponytail confidently holds up the spirit's sword as she explains to the woman with light hair how the fake Holy Grail was cleverly switched back using spirits during the chaos. The woman with light hair listens with a knowing smile, signaling to keep the secret. The woman with the ponytail calmly invites the young elf man to come with her to her kingdom, hinting that she expects much in return. She holds a small object in her hand as she speaks. While he listens attentively, seated nearby, the room is quiet, with a window revealing trees outside, underscoring the gravity of her proposal. Dano solemnly holds the broken pieces of the fake Holy Grail, reflecting on how the Demon King was forced to accept it. Nearby, the woman with the ponytail and the young man with light hair lie resting, their expressions marked by concern. Dano speaks of the illness afflicting the Demon Kingdom's children and the true Holy Grail spirits that possess the power to heal. The woman with the ponytail solemnly explains to the young elf that even without the Holy Grail, the power of spirit can still save the children of the Demon Kingdom. She then asks him what he intends to do next, pressing him to make a decision. The young elf listens intently, concern etched on his face. The young man with pointed elf-like ears sits silently, lost in thought. His expression shifts to anger and confusion as he questions why he should help Yug, who has betrayed him. The weight of his conflicted emotions fills the quiet space around him. Our story continues inside a grand chamber where the woman with the ponytail firmly commands the young elf to stay behind and not step forward. The nervous elf acknowledges her order with a respectful understood, while the woman with long light hair watches on with a confident smirk. Tension fills the room as their uneasy alliance unfolds. King Yug calmly introduces himself as the ruler of Barbaster. Extending a formal greeting, the woman with the ponytail watches him intently, silently noting that he seems determined to act as if the forest incident never occurred. Their tense exchange hints at unresolved conflicts beneath the surface. The Crown Princess of Strunz, Brunhild Rosemuller, introduces herself to Dano with a calm and polite smile, explaining that she has brought a doctor from Strunz to help with the children's incurable disease. Dano listens attentively, curious about the purpose of her visit. The formal setting underscores the gravity of their conversation. Dano calmly offers his medical expertise, assuring the woman with the ponytail that he can assist. The young elf, looking slightly surprised, asks if the doctor is the elf standing behind her. She smiles confidently and denies that the elf behind her is the doctor, while Dano quietly urges the doctor to do their best. The woman with the ponytail questions Dano, asking if he truly intends to save the sick people. Dano stands determined, assuring her that he will heal them using spirit magic. Nearby, the young man with pointed elf-like ears lies weak and surprised in bed, clearly one of those in need of healing. The woman with the ponytail earnestly asks the young elf-like man what he truly wants, stressing that the choice must come from his own heart. The conflicted young man, Lucian, hesitates as he begins to respond, caught in the weight of the decision before him. The young man with pointed elf-like ears firmly states that demanding compensation and abandoning the children are entirely different actions, refusing to become like those who exiled him. The woman with the ponytail listens intently, then responds with a gentle, understanding smile, affirming her desire to save the children despite the difficult choices ahead. Yug calmly asks the woman with the ponytail for her cooperation in testing Dano's treatment. She agrees but requests that Yug speak with Lucian once the treatment is complete. Nearby, the young man with pointed ears listens attentively to their exchange. Dano calmly agrees to begin the treatment, showing his resolve to help. The woman with the ponytail firmly commands him to start, signaling their cooperation. Nearby, the young man with the cloak watches seriously, caught in the tension of the moment. Dano concentrates deeply as he channels his healing magic, his hands glowing with a soft, radiant light. The room fills with an aura of hope as he begins the treatment to aid the sick. His calm determination signals the start of a crucial effort to save lives. The young man lying in bed, still weak but relieved, asks if his body no longer hurts. The woman with the ponytail leans over him, expressing her relief but also concern for his recovery. Nearby, she commands the man with long light hair to prepare the magic circle, and he confirms everything is ready and waiting. Dano concentrates deeply as he casts a powerful magical healing spell, glowing runes and symbols illuminating the room. His calm and focused expression reveals the seriousness of his effort to aid the sick. The healing magic spreads throughout the infirmary, signaling the start of his treatment. Dano calmly explains that the children's fevers should subside soon and advises to administer the medicine if new symptoms appear. The young man with short light hair, wearing a cloak, expresses heartfelt gratitude for Dano's help. Dano humbly credits his lady for the support in their efforts. Dano stands firmly, his expression resolute as he commits to fulfilling their promise. The woman with the ponytail reflects thoughtfully on establishing a foothold for building relations with the Demon Kingdom. Together with the young man in the cloak, they begin walking forward, united in purpose under the open sky. The woman with the ponytail firmly reminds Dano that the decision must come from his own will. Both stand in quiet determination, the weight of choice clear between them as light filters softly through the window behind. Her resolute expression underscores the importance of personal responsibility in the path ahead. The young man with pointed elf-like ears looks serious as he turns to the woman with the ponytail, asking her a single, important question. They stand together in the quiet courtyard, the weight of their conversation hanging in the air. The young man with pointed elf-like ears confronts the man with long light hair, accusing him of deception and claiming he only got close for the Holy Grail. The man listens silently, his expression serious yet slightly pained as the accusation hangs in the air. Tension thickens between them in this charged moment. The young man lying in bed firmly denies Luciandano's accusations, insisting that the children's symptoms only worsened after they became friends. He clenches his fist in frustration, asserting that the claims about seeking the Holy Grail are false. Luciandano reacts with surprise and a defensive stance, caught off guard by the young man's serious explanation. The young man with pointed elf-like ears reacts with shock, exclaiming "WHA-." Behind him, the woman with the ponytail shares his surprise. Nearby, 3 serious high elves stand in the forest, while a light-haired elf explains the connection between their group and Lucian, revealing the high elves as the source of the conflict involving the Demon King's information. The young man with pointed elf-like ears and short light hair is overwhelmed with shock and anguish, struggling to comprehend how a genuine friendship could end in such betrayal. His voice trembles as he confronts the painful reality, questioning the sincerity behind the bonds he once trusted. The weight of his emotions fills the room, marking a turning point in this tense confrontation. Lucian is tearful, struggling with his emotions, while the woman with the ponytail stands firmly beside him. She urges Lucian to stop feeling sorry for himself, offering a serious yet comforting presence amidst the tension. The air is heavy with unspoken pain as she tries to steady him. The young man with pointed elf-like ears reflects thoughtfully, tears welling in his eyes as he speaks about the heavy burden that comes with power. Then, with a playful wink and a pointed gesture to his eye, he emphasizes the crucial lesson of learning to distinguish friend from foe. The young man with pointed elf-like ears breaks down in tears, overwhelmed by his emotions. The woman with long hair and a ponytail gently places a comforting hand on his shoulder, offering quiet support amid his distress. Nearby, the man with long tied-back hair in a formal uniform watches silently from behind. The young man solemnly admits, "I must apologize to you, Lucian." The woman with the ponytail turns to him with wide eyes, surprised by his unexpected apology. She gently reminds him, "Your wish was granted. There is nothing else you want from Lucian now, is there?" The young man with pointed elf-like ears clenches his fist, shouting fiercely that an apology alone is not enough to make things right. He condemns it as a hollow act meant only to ease the other's conscience, expressing deep anger and distrust. His intense outburst reveals the depth of his pain and frustration. The woman with the ponytail gently places her hand on the distressed young man's shoulder, offering calm reassurance as she declares she will take Lucian into her care for a while. The serious woman with horns responds thoughtfully, warning that continuing this conflict benefits no one. The tension lingers amid the quiet backdrop of the forest. The woman with the ponytail gently holds the smaller figure in her arms, reassuring him with a confident smile. The young man with pointed ears stands nearby, solemnly promising to look after Lucian as a dear friend once he is calmed down. Their quiet determination fills the peaceful outdoor setting, hinting at a fragile hope amidst the tension. The young man with pointed ears apologizes quietly, his expression full of remorse. The woman with the ponytail gently reassures him, admitting she would feel the same if she were in his place. Their quiet exchange unfolds on a stone walkway outside, a moment of understanding amid the tension. The woman with the ponytail gently asks the young man if he will still be her friend despite everything being out of order. The young man, looking thoughtful, replies that he already considered her a friend. She then encourages him to someday forgive his friend, the Demon King. The young man hesitates, lost in thought about his delayed apology. The woman with the ponytail gently asks if he will stay by her side for 100 years despite everything, surprised. He looks up at her, caught off guard by her heartfelt request. The woman with the ponytail extends her hand, promising to support the young man for the next 100 years. He sincerely accepts, vowing to trust her as a friend as long as she never betrays him. Their hands clasp firmly, sealing their newfound bond of trust and friendship beneath the open sky.